on it?
I suppose, Des, if I was to be honest, it's the one that still haunts me. I'll be honest in saying that. Regardless of what happened before the game, you know, we were 7 points up with 20 minutes to go. We had ourselves in a winning position, and we let it slip. And I knew once the quarter-finals were over, this game was going to be dug up this week, and I'm sure there'll be plenty of it over the week ahead, you know.
Yeah. And how did, I mean, does that take from Mayo's performance on the day that you let it slip?
No, like, listen, I would always say that we lost the game. Probably that's just been a biased view, maybe rather than Mayo won it, but they did deserve credit. They kicked some fantastic scores in the last 20 minutes, and they got goals, they got momentum at a crucial period of the game, and you know, 50 from 55 minutes in, you know, they were dominating the game, and you know, they probably, the scores they kicked, they deserved to come out on top. But from a personal perspective and a team perspective, we were very disappointed to have let that one slip, you know.
All right then, well, let's talk about the modern Mayo team, and you've been looking at the Mayo midfield.
Yeah, you know, I think James Horan has done a good job with this Mayo team. I think they're hungry, they're well structured, they're strong defence. But it was really in midfield that I think the improvements over the last two games have come. In the first game against Sligo flooded midfield, and Mayo struggled to get a stronghold. Barry Moran was playing with Danny Geraghty, and they brought in Aidan O'Shea at half-time in that game, and they dictated the second half. And not unlike today, you know, Neil Gallagher, you know, midfield is still very, very important. I think in this year's championship, you know, we've gone back to the fundamentals of winning primary possession in the middle of the park. And against Down, the two of them put on a masterclass, particularly Barry Moran, who cleaned out Down in the aerial battle, and there was some great catches. But Aidan O'Shea is the other factor. The two of them work well together. He can also get forward and kick a score. Now the talk is maybe in Mayo that Horan is going to sacrifice O'Shea and maybe try him in a full forward. They tampered with O'Shea and Moran during the league at full forward. And, you know, they might be robbing Peter to pay Paul to a certain degree, because I think these two guys have been very strong in the middle, and it's going to be a very interesting midfield battle. The interesting thing from a Dublin perspective is that I don't like the dynamic of Bastick, Macaulay and Fennell all playing. I think that has meant Dublin have lost their shape to a certain degree, because Macaulay tends to sit back in the middle, and it has affected the shape of their forward line. But, you know, you're going to have four guys in the middle of the park with similar levels of mobility, all good ball winners. Eamon Fennell played well against Laois, so it's going to be an interesting clash in the middle of the park, and I think Mayo will need Moran and O'Shea in the middle. Okay, well, maybe related to that, Martin, you've been looking at Stephen Cluxton's kickouts. Now, we have looked at them before, but do you think they're crucial?
Well, I think it's interesting today. You probably had a lot of top coaches in the country, at club and county, watching today, watching Donegal, how they play the system. And people started to watch Cluxton, because we see these two kicks. The one against Donegal, they put them a point up, a great kick, and that kick to win the All-Ireland. I mean, that takes a lot of bottle. I think there's a lot of, we see soccer players missing penalties or making big money. We see what Mayo did in the league, and this is very interesting to see what Mayo was going to do. They didn't allow him to take the short kick out, and they pushed up, they broke that ball down. Andy Moran won it. Now, these next two are very interesting. This is when he tries to take a short kick out, which he's good at. Mayo push up on it right away, get in there, they've done their homework, and Alan Dillon kicks a great score here.
And, you know, so they're waiting for it.
They're waiting for it. They've worked on it, they've studied it, you can see it, and here we go again. Again, he tries, you know, to a dummy kind of a kick out, and again Dillon picks it up and scores. Now the interesting one is that Mayo this year are happy playing Kevin McLaughlin as a sweeper. They use him in the same role as Donegal use Mark McHugh, and that kind of a role coming forward. Now, for them to do that, they're going to have to push up. So that's where I think Kieran's right, that Michael Dara Macaulay, who's the most mobile midfielder, is going to have to go into the middle of the field and stretch. They're going to have to try, Dublin's going to have to try to pull their backs in for the kickers and stretch the Mayo midfield, who mightn't be mobile enough. But with what you said, with Dublin playing three players in the middle of the field, that's going to suit teams playing against them. There's not enough mobility there.
They lose their shape in the forward line, but if they do push up on Cluxton kick out, it's going to make the midfield battle all the more important. Now, the only thing I would say, Stephen Cluxton was probably hit over the summer periods, has hit hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of kickouts compared to back in March, you know. I think he knew that night he had a poor game, and he still is, you know. Very seldom he gets it wrong. Usually he's quite clinical, and he's very quick from when the ball is on the tee and it's gone straight away, and that's something.
Well, I noticed after the score the ball's thrown out to him, and Cork were doing it today. They got the ball, keepers were doing that right after score right away. And what a Cork, Michael Murphy kicked the score of the day. Alan Cork hit Murphy's man with the kick out, and they got a score at the other end. The ball's over the bar. So listen, it's all tactical. Keepers becoming a big player in Gaelic football.
Sure. Tony, to the other big players, the Brogans. Now, you think, I mean, obviously they're star players, but you think their role is crucial?
Absolutely crucial, and compared to last year, there's two factors. One, the Brogan factor, and we're going to look at that here, and it's how they played last year and how they're playing this year. And first of all, here we have against Tyrone in the last year in the quarter-final. This is Allen from 45 with his left leg. A fantastic score, no doubt about it. He looked confident, looked assured, and straight over the bar. Burned it in the All-Ireland final against Mark O'Shea. An outrageous score, straight over the bar. Here we see this year against Wexford. Now, Wexford had men back. They made it very difficult for them, like Mayo are going to do, and he blasts the ball wide. Just not as sharp as what it was last year. There's a lot of hangovers. When you win in All-Ireland, the second year is very difficult to do the same, because mentally, you're not as aggressive as you were the year before. Now, that was really, really good pass, straight in. That was against Meath, and this is the important one where he gets injured against Meath later on in the game. And Alan went off that day, and really, I know he's back playing again, but he mightn't be as sharp. Now, Diarmuid Connolly played that role, can play that role very well, but not as effective as what Alan would do. Here we see Diarmuid Connolly again, picking him out inside in the corner. Now, last year I think he would have finished it off there and gone for a goal. This year he took his point. Now, personally, in '89 we won the All-Ireland. We were back the following year, 1990, and I don't think I was half as mad a player as I was in 1990 as I was in '89, because I think a lot of demons were squashed within me that I quelled them in '89 after winning an All-Ireland. It's so hard to come back the following year. I think the traditionalists, like Kilkenny in hurling, like Kerry in football, there's very few teams can continually win All-Irelands and have that tradition and go on and win All-Irelands, and it will be really test Dublin to do it. And the Brogans will have to be on full form, both Alan and Bernard.
So do you think Mayo will win?
No.
What was the point of all that then?
I'll tell you why I don't think they'll win, actually. I think if Andy Moran was playing for Mayo, certainly I think Mayo would beat this Dublin team. I think this Dublin team are there for the taking, but I just don't think Mayo have enough mobility in the forward line to take Dublin.
Quick verdict?
Yeah, I think Dublin defence should be good enough to hold the Mayo forward line, and it's going to be tight. I'm getting more worried as it gets closer to this one, and Dublin's shape in the forward line has to be better, and they have to play their full forward line closer to the scoring zone, and if they do that and they improve, they'll get over the line.
Martin,
Yeah, I
briefly.
Connolly and Bernard Brogan inside will be important.
Yeah.
Brogan got enough ball, even with Alan not on the field. I think Michael Dara McCauley in the middle of the field. This is a better Mayo team. It's a good Mayo team. They're tougher, more physical than the Mayo teams in the past. It's an interesting game. I still think Dublin will have enough.
OK, well, you all went for Cork last week, so let's see what that means. Coming up after the break, we have action from the All-Ireland Ladies Football quarter-finals and the All-Ireland Minor semi-final between Mayo and Meath. We'll see you in a couple of minutes.